Hello everybody, my name is Suman Dua. I'm a registered migration agent based in Australia. In this video today, I want to talk about some of the options available to student visa holders to transition into a business visa. So these visas are available to either entrepreneurs or somebody who does have a business management experience from their home country. So there are two types of subclasses that are available. The first one is the 491 visa, which is a points tested skilled visa where you do need an invite from the state. The second one is the 188A visa, which is the business innovation visa. For this visa as well, you do need an invite from the state, and this is also a points tested visa. We will be talking about these visas in detail. So the first one, which is the 491 visa. So there are 3 states which are offering the 491 visa to applicants who are running a business in their states. So for this visa, you still need to meet the requirements of the Department of Home Affairs first, which is that you need to be under 45 years of age. You need to have a positive skills assessment in your nominated occupation. You need to have competent English, and you also need to have a points test score of 65 points, including the state points. So there are currently 3 states which offer their nomination for applicants who are running a business in their state, and they offer the nomination for the 491 visa. So the 3 states are South Australia, Tasmania, and Queensland. So we will be talking in detail about each of these state requirements. So the first one is South Australia. So to meet the requirements for South Australia, first you still have to meet the requirements that are set by the Department of Home Affairs. And on top of that, South Australia has their own requirements if you wish to apply for the nomination for 491 visa. So this option is available for the skilled migrants who have started their own business in South Australia. So the first requirement is that your business needs to be running and operating in South Australia for a minimum of 12 months, and you also need to be residing in South Australia for a minimum of 24 months. If you are an existing CISA holder in South Australia, then your business needs to be running in South Australia for 6 months, and you also need to be residing in South Australia during that time. It is also a requirement that your business is able to generate you a personal income which is equivalent to the minimum taxable income requirement, which is currently sitting at 53,900. South Australia is going to give preference to the businesses that align with their priority growth sector, and these priority growth sectors are similar to the priority sectors that we've got for the Global Talent Program as well. We will put the link in the description. They are also going to give preference to applicants who have hired 2 full-time employees in their business, and that excludes the applicant themselves. You will also be required to provide a business case, maximum of 2 pages, which demonstrates that you have put thorough research into and understanding of the relevant industry conditions in South Australia, how the business will be innovative, contribute to South Australia's economic growth, and can support job creation for South Australians, how the applicant's previous experience and qualification will help the applicant successfully build their business in South Australia over at least 3 years. So only a business owner can apply under this stream. So they will accept sole traders, trusts, private companies, and partnerships. Unfortunately, franchise businesses will be ineligible for this stream. So these are the requirements that you will have to meet to get nomination from South Australia if you're running a business in their state. Now let's look at the next state, which is Tasmania. So like I mentioned before, for any of these streams for 491 visa, you still have to meet the requirements that are set by the Department of Home Affairs, and on top of that, you will meet the requirements that are set by the state. So to meet the requirements for Tasmania under this stream, you will have to demonstrate that you have been running the business for a minimum of 6 months in Tasmania, and it is also a mandatory requirement that the business is run under the sole owner. You will also have to demonstrate that the business is likely to make you a personal income of 53,900, which is the minimum taxable income requirement that is set by the Department of Home Affairs. You will also have to show that you have the understanding of the requirements and the responsibilities of treating your employees fairly. You will also have to provide a very comprehensive business plan, which includes the following. You will have to provide the evidence of thorough research into an understanding of the target market, research and understanding of relevant industry conditions, licensing and/or registration requirements for the business in Tasmania, realistic market opportunities for the proposed business in Tasmania, particularly where the business would be competing with other similar existing businesses already established in Tasmania. Additional considerations include the applicant's prior business ownership or business management experience, and also the nature of the business and its long-term benefit to Tasmania. Please note that Tasmania does not accept franchise or partly owned businesses. They also don't accept any businesses which are generating you passive investment. Also, if you're running a taxi Uber business or a service station or a massage clinic, those type of businesses are also not acceptable by Tasmania. Now let's look at Queensland, which is also offering you a 491 nomination if you're somebody who's running a business in their state. So for this stream as well, you still have to meet the requirements that are set by the Department of Home Affairs, and on top of that, Queensland has their own requirements. For Queensland state nomination under the small business owner category, you can choose any occupation from the department's eligible occupation list. So it could be from the MLTSSL, STSOL or ROL list. You will have to demonstrate that you have prior business experience. So this could be that maybe you have done a qualification in business, or it could be that you had a family business where you participated in the business. And also this can be demonstrated because you will be running the business for 6 months in regional Queensland to meet the requirements of their nomination. So that can also be considered as a business experience. You need to be on a visa which has full-time work rights, because you need to be operating your business for a minimum of 35 hours a week. You need to have purchased an existing business in regional Queensland. Also, please note that home-based business or startup businesses will not be allowed under this stream. You need to have invested a minimum of 100,000 Australian dollars before lodging your EOI. You need to be the 100% owner of the business. Please note that partnerships or joint ventures are not eligible for this stream. You need to be trading in the business for a minimum of 6 months before you lodge your expression of interest with BSMQ. You will be required to employ one employee for a minimum of 20 hours a week, and that person needs to be an Australian citizen or a permanent resident or an eligible New Zealand citizen. So these are the requirements from Queensland State if you're looking at applying for the 491 visa through the business stream. So at the moment, these are the 3 states which are offering their nomination if you're somebody who's an entrepreneur or wants to run a business in a state. So apart from this option, you also have the option of 188A. So the requirements for the 188A are a bit higher, but we have seen some applicants who meet these requirements and who can easily transition from a student visa to 188A. So 188A is a points tested visa as well, and I have made a separate video about how to claim your points for the business visa, and I will put the link in the description. And you also need the invite from the state, so you need to know the state requirements as well for this visa, and you have to be in the right state before you consider 188A, especially if you are on a student visa. So with many of our applicants, they might be here studying themselves, or it could be their partners who are studying a master's and they are on full-time work rights and running a business already in Australia and meeting the minimum asset requirement and also meeting the minimum turnover requirement. So I have made a separate video explaining in detail about the 188A. In this video, I will briefly explain the requirements, and if you think you are somebody who's already here in Australia and already meet the requirements for 188A, please get in touch with us. We'll be happy to assess your profile and let you know which state might be best for you to consider studying. So I'm going to briefly explain you the requirements of 188A visa. So this visa will suit somebody who has come from a business background, have had ownership in a qualifying main business. So I will explain you about the qualifying main business as well in a bit. And this visa allows holders to operate a new or existing business in Australia. Strong business acumen must be demonstrated at the time of application. Now it is also very necessary to demonstrate minimum assets at time of application that would be available to transfer to Australia within 2 years of visa being granted. So with the turnover requirement, so in at least 2 out of the last 4 financial years, your main business or businesses must have had an annual turnover of at least 500,000. Now please note that there are some changes that are going to occur on 1st of July 2021, and as per those changes, the turnover requirement will be increased from the 500,000 Australian dollars to 750,000 Australian dollars. And also with the assets, you or and your spouse, or you both together, or one of you, must have total net business and personal assets of at least 800,000. Now again, please note that this amount will change to $1.25 million from July 2021. So these assets need to be legally transferred to Australia within 2 years of the date that your visa is granted. So like I mentioned before, it is a points tested visa and you need to meet the minimum point requirement of 65 points. You do get points for your age, qualification, English proficiency, business turnover, financial assets, number of years managing a main business, and business innovation points. Now the thing to note here is that for this visa you have to be under 55, and there are some waivers available if you're over 55 as well. Whereas for the visas that we have discussed before, which was the 491 visa, you have to be under 45 years of age. So to be considered a qualifying business, there are two things that you will have to meet. The first one is that of that main business or main two businesses, you or your spouse, if applicable, must own at least 51% where the turnover was less than 400,000 per annum, 30% where the turnover was 400,000 or more per annum, 10% where the business was publicly listed company. And if you are somebody who was providing professional, technical or trade services during at least 2 of the last 4 years, you must have spent less than half of your time directly providing those services as opposed to general management of the business. It is also very important that you and your spouse must have had no involvement in unacceptable business or investment activities. So if you're somebody who's maybe here on a student visa or other temporary visa running their own business and they already meet the asset and the turnover requirement, then please get in touch with us. We will be able to assess your profile and discuss your options. Stay updated about Australia's immigration. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel.